So this guy issues his weekly veiled death threats.
We Muslims, the servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and our non-Muslim allies, will send you to the God that you wish you knew.
And gets his ass handed to him on a platter. Then, months later, it turns out that after he failed to bullshit people on the public forum and YouTube ignored his whiny little complaints and the legal guys just weren't interested, that he's still hunting for my docs in order to find out who I am, such that having appointed himself as this sole moral authority, that he can try and screw up my professional life. Yeah, it's a pretty simple guy gets caught acting as jerk equation, and the comments and ratings reflected that. Strange thing was, though, that the video responses were more or less a population inversion of this. So to put an end to this, I went on a blog TV last week, and 1,000 or so people, enough to constitute a representative sample, turned up, and I invited the chief detractors to put their best man and their best argument forward. And yeah, this included Dawa Films himself. All takers welcome. And this went on for 6 or so hours. The harsh critics put on a poor show with this guy called Shredder is Alive heading the bill, and I'll post that video as well. Indeed, no one who turned up actually really had any interest in trying to defend Dawa Films, not even this Shredder is Alive guy.
My initial reason was not to come on and defend Ali under any circumstances.
Yeah, it was pretty much like this Dawa Films guy was just the gelling agent that held together this hardcore of Thunderf00t detractors. Now, over the last months, the chief of these critics has been a guy called Coughlan616, a guy who has previously had his channel banned for being a little too offensively outside the envelope. Anyways, I've given this guy a fairly wide berth, simply as he appears to be unstable, and as he arguably seems to be suffering from histrionic personality disorder.
What are the signs of histrionic personality disorder?
A person with histrionic personality disorder is going to be attention-seeking, and that attention does not have to be good attention. It can be bad attention. Any attention at all is better than none. They need to be the center of attention. They will constantly be drawing attention to themselves. They will make scenes. They may control relationships by being very dramatic and theatrical. They can appear very needy and dependent.
I mean, sure, a guy in need of medication might make entertaining videos, but that's really not the sort of guy I share much of an overlap with. Anyway, his craving for attention goes back to him initiating this spat with the Amazing Atheist, and that resulted in Coughlan uploading what can only be described as a pitiful video, where he essentially begged to be left alone because of his emotional frailty, weakness and instability, and because he couldn't handle the criticism, and because of all the psychiatrist couches that he'd been on.
I've sat on enough couches and had enough fucking tests and been told by enough fucking doctors, DJ, what my thoughts are. I don't need you. I don't need you to fucking tell me.
Indeed, there was almost a rerun of this event when he tried to attack Pat Condell.
Right, Pat Condell, you are a fucking joke.
Who paid little attention to him, but the backlash had Coughlan making this nearly tearful emotional appeal for sympathy.
I could go on for another hour with some of the shit I've had to put up with.
Now, I could have sort of empathised with that if he hadn't actually started these spats himself in the first place. But then he compounds matters by persistently hosting these ownage Olympics where he actively encourages others to deliver the scrutiny to others that he so tearfully couldn't handle himself. And he's also got this habit of directing fans to videos on smaller channels critical of him, which is kind of bullying, really. The guy also craved, for some reason that I've never really fully understood, attention from me, with it being an open secret that the guy desperately, for months, wanted me to subscribe to him.
Why have you not subscribed to my fucking channel?
You're just not my cup of tea.
You subscribe to Ominous Voice.
He's funny, he makes me laugh.
Almighty Atheismo, what's your excuse for subscribing to that bogey bum?
He paid me.
Me and you, in the ring, in a fight. If I beat you, you have to subscribe to my channel.
Eventually, I think mostly out of frustration, he decided that if he couldn't get this attention by praising me...
This is an apology to Thunderf00t and other
YouTube Thunderfoot. From myself to him, Thunderfoot.
He would get it out of spitting at me.
I don't like Thunderfoot. This is no fucking... There's no real fucking secret there.
And this he has done persistently, going so far as to actually fabricate quotes and then attribute them to me. And we're not talking minor fabrications here. This is what he actually had up on his Twitter account, as a direct quote from me. I fear that economic collapse could lead to the Muslims taking over just like the Nazis, supposedly quoted from Thunderfoot on Blog TV. And yeah, not content to just make up such bullshit and attribute it as a direct quote to me, he then goes on to confirm this to Straight Dope by saying, yeah, that's what he said. But that's not the end of it. He also made up some bullshit about me deleting video responses.
It's become apparent recently that Thunderfoot has been removing video responses to his Draw Muhammad Day video that depicted him as the Prophet Muhammad. 3 different users that I know of. One of them had it done to him 3 times. And he even did it to a video I uploaded on a sock account after I heard about this. You can take that or leave it.
And yeah, the little attention seeker did this at the height of the Draw Muhammad Day thing. Naturally, I did what was necessary at the time and stayed on target, not getting distracted away from the primary goal of making the event a success by some unstable emo troll attention whoring. But that really did piss me off. To say that I've not put a lot of effort into building the reputation by track record alone of this channel as defending free speech is an understatement, and the fact that he was more than happy to casually use this commodity as emo whore collateral really does say everything about the character of the guy. I mean, yeah, I invested a lot into Draw Muhammad Day. You know, the Islamic world isn't particularly known for its sense of humour on such subjects, with people actually having to go into hiding or worse on such matters. So yeah, there's me doing my best to actually make this event a success, to make it clear that we and the internet are not subject to Islamic blasphemy laws, with all the personal risk that that entails, and that there's this emo troll happily and malevolently throwing a fictional spanner into the works just so he can indignantly garner some personal attention. And recently, and maybe most ironically, I was recently disappointed by the fact that the majority of the comments on a chat between myself and one of the world's foremost atheist bloggers was more about what I was wearing than what we talked about. And Coughlan strawmanned this, as he routinely does when presenting his criticism, that I was hurt because of people's opinions about what I was wearing.
Why do you care then what people care whether you look like? I mean, this warrants a video from you, whining and complaining about being a sad bunny because people make fun of you.
And that I should...
But other than that, Thunderfoot, man the fuck up.
I mean, how fixated does a man have to be to spit on you when this person...
You accuse me of doing that? No, I actually respect the people I fucking interact with.
Whining and complaining about...
That guy that's paranoid and worried. If I don't make those videos where I sit there and I get it off my chest, if I don't do that, then I don't know what to fucking do anymore. I've got no way of fucking getting rid of it. And
being a sad bunny because
I've sat on enough couches and had enough fucking tests and been told by enough fucking doctors, DJ, what my thoughts are. I don't need you. I don't need you to fucking tell me.
But other than that, Thunderfoot, man the fuck up, man the fuck up, man the fuck up. I see evidence of argumentation used by atheists in, that to me, smacks of hypocrisy.
Yup, when this internet tough guy is telling you to man up over some strawman argument he's just defeated that never existed anywhere outside of his head. And all of this because I wouldn't subscribe to a man in need of medication.
Coughlan, you've been complaining about Thunderfoot for, what is it, like 6 months that he wasn't sent to you?
Yeah.
And now you have ownage.
And with a track record like this, you know, where one's primary objective is to score some attention, all other considerations secondary, he wonders why I give him a wide berth. It was this sort of vociferous critic who I invited to bring their best case, and I spent 6 hours addressing such folk, even though there were very few takers from the hard critic camp, and of those who were vocal critics there may be iconified by this guy called Shredder is Alive.
Dear Thunderfoot,
There were, of course, some interesting and thoughtful conversations. It's just none really by this group unified by Dawa Films. Unfortunately, the only ones that survived were recorded by others, since Blog TV didn't record properly, and I've hosted the more interesting ones of those that survived. Based on the Blog TV session, it appeared to me that the vast majority of these detractors are a tiny, unobjective, and highly vocal minority. And this is maybe exemplified by the thoughtful and eloquent argument put forward in their recent collaboration video. Yeah, the most prominent of these Thunderfoot detractors really did think it was worth putting the effort into making this collaboration video. And sure, these are the core folk who usually vocally inquire why I never respond to critics. I might do another one of these Blog TV sessions to engage the more thoughtful critics at some point, but I think it's fair to say that everyone in this collaboration video doesn't fall into that category.
That's his response to someone.
Hence the confusion.
Dear Thunderfoot.
But we are taking it one step further.
Consider yourself peer-reviewed.
Hey, Thunderfoot.
Zuerst vergraul ich mich am Ei, dann lass ich Schneeschnapschen rein. Schneeschna, Schnapsi, 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 Schnaps. Schneeschna, Schnapsi, 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 Schnaps.
In response to Thunderfoot,
Schnapsi und hab nen langen Stiel. Ja, der Arschfick, das ist mein Lieblingsspiel. Schleim von hinten angeschlagen.
Dear
Zeig
Thunderfoot,
dir, wie laut das ist. Klikla, klatschi, 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 klatsch. Klikla, klatschi, 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 klatsch. Ich platsche jeden aufs Maul, wenn sich was graut. Ich breche deinem Volk das Fuß. Dann nehm ich dich gleich mit mir nach Heim. Quatsche.
By the way, Thunder Tootsies.
This goes out to you, Thunderfort.
Mach mal Stopp, wir müssen eh noch nicht.
Hello, Mr. Thunderfoot.